Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I don't know. This episode wasn't terrible. It wasn't exactly the best episode. I did not care about Will and the Sonny scenes. I didn't care about Justin when he came in and he started singing. At that point, I had to just mute it. I was like, nope, we're not doing that. I'm pretty sure people like that scene. I guess a couple people, it just was not me. But to be fair, I never really cared that much about the Sonny and um Will scenes. Maybe because I haven't been watching the show that long. I don't know. It's weird because there's characters I do like that I've seen for a short period, and other characters I'm just like, I'm good. Um, but it was nice to sit there. Oh, I can't even sit there and say it was nice to sit there and see Will because I didn't care. It was just a reflex to sit there and try to be nice. But um, now I did actually like the scenes with Sloan and Rafe, specifically because Sloan was fighting for her client. You know, she truly does believe that Leo didn't do it. And even though that Rafe kept giving a bunch of scenarios of he could have did this, he could have did that, you know, he had motive. Sloan was not giving it to him. Okay. And after Sloan talked to Leo on the phone, you know, Sloan insisted on going with Rafe. You know, you're not going to sit there and talk to him without me being there. You know that. So I had to give a lot of props to her, especially the way she was sitting there handling Rafe. I give her a lot of props. It's just too bad that she has such a debut. Such a debut. That's the only way I can sit there and describe it. Such a debut. Because as much points as I'm giving this character today, I still can't sit there and help. I still can't help but forget, to remember that she was the same woman that slept with a guy who couldn't even be bothered to remember his name, to remember her name, let alone her profession. Now the profession is okay, whatever, but you can't be bothered to remember her name. Like, really, bro? And the thing is, she was cool with that. She was totally cool with that. Is there something about that scene that just irritated me? And it still bothers me. Because it just shows a lack of self-respect. Um, so I really can't get past that, but I will give her a prop today. Um, After Stephanie was there trying to take care of Chad, gets a call from Alex. Now Alex is with Victor, and the company is not looking good. The company is not looking good. So Victor wants Alex to be temporary CEO, and to have Stephanie come in to help with the PR because that's not Victor's not there looking at his tablet. Like, good for you, Victor. Good for you. Stepping into the future. I've seen so many, and I don't know. It's just something about seeing the newspaper. It's just like, where's your VCR at? Victor's not there reading, on his tablet, and he gets an article that he's reading, and it's painting Titan in a negative light. Losing um confidence in the company and stuff like that. Pretty sure it's not good for investors. So he's like, yo, Johnson needs to sit there and get on that PR thing now. So he pretty much, after he gets them both there, um, tells him, yo, listen, you gotta sit there and put your heads together. Because when Sonny wakes up, I want him to have a company to go back to. So they get to the office, and Stephanie's sitting there writing a piece to, let people know the transfer of power as far as him being temporary CEO. So he's sitting there looking at it, he's looking over his shoulders, and once again, it's just like, I'm going to be honest, does anyone actually find this whole Alex trying to woo her charming or romantic or any one of those adjectives that I haven't used? Because I just look at it and I'm just like, bro, is coming across as hella slimy. I'm gonna be honest, this is coming across as hella slimy. You know, he's over his shoulder. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you did a great job." You know, almost to sit there and say it's kind of sexy. I'm just like, bro, why is it? I mean, it's something about the Alex character that I like, but his whole approach, not specifically on women, but specifically on her, is just like, bro, what are you doing? Your uncle is giving you this chance to sit there and make sure that you know your brother can have a have a place to come back to. And she's told you more than once that she's not interested in you that way. I'm like, you can't sit there and you can't sit there and stay focused for 5 seconds to concentrate on the task at hand, other than that they're trying to get in her pants. Like, really? I don't know. Like, it's putting me off, to be honest. Um, with this character, especially when he starts doing stuff like that. It's just like, okay. Now, Leo is having some nightmares of Chad coming in the room and stabbing him with a knife. So he is ready to just get out of Dodge fast. He gets a call from Sloan, and long story short, it seemed that well, for a brief time, Sloan convinced him to stay there because Rafe was like, "Yo, listen, I want to know where your client is. Otherwise, I'm going to throw you in the holding cell." So Sloan calls him up. He's like, "Yo, listen, I believe you. You know, if you run, it's gonna look worse. You need to stay. You need to fight this. I can do this. I believe in you." So he can. It seems like she convinced Leo to stay for a little bit. Rafe and Sloan get down there. Rafe kicks open the door, and he's not there. This dude dressed up as a nurse with a blonde wig on, and yeah, that. So he wakes up, so he's standing over Sonny, and Sonny finally wakes up and sees Leo in a wig, and things just showing up. So that's that's definitely one way to wake up. I can't remember. I can't remember if I actually said Chad was in this episode. I mean, he didn't really do much. He just kind of stood by, at the hospital, whatever, waiting to hear any news from Sonny. He came in the room with Will just to kind of see how he was doing, and then he left, and then we just didn't see him throughout the rest of the episode. So I don't know. I He didn't really do much. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to come up with something positive. I'm just like, nope, you didn't do anything. He did snap at Stephanie, but because Stephanie was like, you need to go home, you need to be fresh and ready, so when he does wake up, you can be there for him. But Chad was like, he's not eating, he's not sleeping. His wife got murdered. His best friend is almost at death's door. So I can understand why he just doesn't want to do too much of anything. But he's like, no. He says something sarcastic, and then I think that's when Justin came in and said a couple of words, and then just went to the chapel. And the other part of this story that was interesting was Jennifer and Maggie's scene. Because they get to talking, and Maggie's sitting there asking, how's Jennifer doing? It's kind of weird for her to be sitting there asking. I take that back. But it did go somewhere. It seemed like it was kind of fast tracked a little bit, and maybe that's why the way she kept asking, like, "No, are you sure you're okay? You're being strong for everyone else, but how are you doing?" And when Jennifer went to go get a call, I guess Maggie accidentally knocked over her purse and saw a couple of pain pills. Pain pills. So Jennifer gets back, and Maggie's like, "Yeah, I accidentally dropped this by accident. Yada yada yada." Um, and she just flat out like, "Yo, I've been using these." And for a hot minute, Jennifer was like, no, it was Doug. He was playing racquetball, yada, 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 injury, and, he's just in a lot of pain. Eventually, she does sit there and start to complain and is like, I've been tempted to use it, just to kind of deal with everything. And her temptation to sit there and use those pills started back when her mother died. That was like a good year and a half ago. And now that Abby's gone, it's like all the safeguards are just gone. There's um, she's just literally at her end. So Maggie's like, listen, you need to sit there and come with me to a meeting. So they go to the meeting. Maggie comes back, talks to Victor, and they're saying to Victor that, um, Jennifer's dealing with a lot. She's not in a good place right now. And of course, Victor's like, yeah, no, I get it. Now, Maggie doesn't know that Philip is alive, right? Only Kate and Victor does. Oof. So if they ever do actually get back to that whole Philip storyline, I'm just wondering. How mad is she going to be on a scale of 1 to 10? Because it just hit me right now when Victor was talking to Maggie, and I'm just like, he doesn't know about Philip's, disappearing. So yeah, when Jennifer gets back from the meeting, Jennifer, before she left, she was looking at Maggie and she tossed the pills in the garbage. And when she got back, she was standing over the trash. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember if she actually picked it up or not, but she would look like she was hella tempted to pick up those things. So if they're gonna be doing like an addiction storyline, it should be interesting. I really, I mean, I don't want to sit there and say I want them to do that, but I think it's very important to. I mean, granted, you can't really show what it's like to deal with, a parent losing a child because it just feels unnatural, for you to outlive your own child. But I can see them doing that and Jack and just dealing with that whole thing. So if they're going in the direction that I think that they're going in, I think it'll be pretty interesting. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Because when they do those, if they do it and they do it well, and it doesn't come across as a PSA, but it still comes across as authentic, I can work with that. I mean, they did a good job, in my opinion, with the whole Sasha and everything like that on G8. So, and if it gives them more screen time with like Jack and everything, it would be pretty interesting. Because I know that they both left for a little bit. Because to be honest, they didn't really seem like they had much of a storyline. So if you can get them a storyline, I'm with it. I am with it. Now, one other thing I'm going to sit there and say is that Maggie was putting a lot of that on herself, not seeing it sooner. But I'm like, I get that you're a former addict, but you're not a trained counselor. You're not a therapist. You know, I guess that's what you do when you care about someone and you want to be there for that person. And if you feel like you dropped the ball in any sort of way, you kind of kick yourself a little bit. But I was just like, Maggie, that's kind of unnecessary. Like, just because you've been through that, it doesn't give you some sort of sonar or anything like that. Like, little signs. Like, I don't know. Um, I don't know. Like I said, this episode wasn't really that great, but I feel like maybe because it was Labor Day that they didn't really kind of like do like a really good juicy storyline. Um, Hell, even the Orpheus stuff, like the way that the um stopped the bomb in time. I wonder if they're gonna sit there and do something later on. But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of these questions are gonna be answered, or most of these questions and storylines going to be going further and probably more interesting when it gets to Peacock. Okay, when it gets to Peacock, I feel like that's when they're going to really be kind of just like hopefully doing some really interesting stuff. Because at this point, I'm like, yo, people are paying now. People are they signed up to sit there and support this show. Um, so you know, I think the last one was Steve, the actor that plays Steve, and Robert, the guy that's playing Alex now. They're to talk about Peacock and joining Peacock. And it's gonna be really great. It's gonna be less commercials and less interruptions. And I'm like, are we gonna actually? I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit there and say like, are we gonna get some better stories because the stories have been really good so far. But on episodes on days like today, where it was just like this episode was so. What are we looking like for in the future? But I guess time will tell. I feel like that's pretty much about it. Like I said, nothing else really happened that was too interesting that I can remember. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.